Hey there, Chef D Malfi here, and welcome to Plant-Based Made Easy. This is a show where every time we come on, we make a healthy, delicious, and easy recipe straight out of my monthly Plant-Based Made Easy cookbook. We are working out of the December cookbook right now. That's this beaut right here. I am in love with the recipes for this December cookbook because they are just as festive as ever, and I really need the joy that the holiday season is bringing this year. So I'm glad to be back on. For the month of December, weeks 2 through 4, I'm only going on live on Thursday. So it's really, really great to be back with y'all. I'm excited because today is our snack day, and I'm going to show you a really delicious kind of stick to your ribs, so yummy snack. And this is a savory masala French toast, okay? So it's like a French toast, but it is, instead of it being sweet, it's savory. And I'm gonna add a delicious amount of Indian flavors. It's gonna be really yummy. And if this is your first time watching in either live or on the replay, type in your name and let me know where are you watching from, because I'd love to engage with you. I can see everyone who's here, and I'd love to say hello and answer any questions you may have along the way about this recipe or about plant-based living and eating in general. So let's get started. I'm going to start with prepping our ingredients for the savory masala French toast. I need to prep the batter, okay? And this batter, it couldn't be simpler. I'm going to start with just a few vegetables. Now, I said it was savory, right? So you might be thinking, oh, vegetables and batter, just stay with me. So I'm going to get a nice big bowl here. I wonder if that's going to be big enough. No, you know what? I'm going to actually make this a little bigger. That seems to be better. And hi, Mom. Good to see you. My mom is in the house, everyone. All right. So I have a nice clear bowl so that you can see through it. And I'm going to add some ingredients. First things first are veggies that are going to make this savory. The first thing I want to add are shredded carrots. So I have some shredded carrots. These are pre-shredded, really great. You can save yourself a little time and spend a little extra money by buying them pre-grated or shredded. Or you can take 2 seconds and put it in your food processor with the shred or grate blade, and this will be shredded in literally like less than a second. Just pop that carrot down into your food processor and you should get this, about a half a cup or so. And now I want to add some onion and tomato. Let's start with tomato. So it is the winter, or actually it's still the fall. Let's see, the winter solstice is, I believe, December 21st. So we're headed there. We're close. Right now, I'm looking at some winter grape or cherry tomatoes. Now, these are really a summer seasonal crop, but they are greenhouse grown here in California. And just take a look in the fall or the winter. Obviously, tomatoes can be grown all year round. Not obviously, I should say that actually a little lighter. Not obviously. If you have a greenhouse, you can grow tomatoes all year long. And that's what we do here in California for the season of fall and winter. And when they grow these tomatoes during this time of year, you can see that they have really nice kind of dark features. They're nice and juicy. They're nice and plump. Oh, I want to show you in the overhead cam. Just take a look at this for a second. Now, these are organic. They're really, really juicy and plump. You can see they kind of have like a blush, like a little purple blush, right, to it. And that's the indicator that it is probably grown in a greenhouse and probably grown and harvested this fall. So I'm going to just take some of these tomatoes. These are organic. Definitely want you to purchase organic tomatoes because tomato crops here in the United States, if they are not organic, they are going to be a GMO'd crop, so a genetically modified seed and organism. And we don't know what the effect of that is in our body. So we just want to just really limit how much we enjoy conventional tomatoes. We really only should be buying organic here in the US. Now, I can't speak for other countries, but that is really the recommendation here in the US for tomatoes, for corn, and for soy. Just fun fact. Not that we're using those ingredients, but just thought I'd mention it. And organic tomatoes are generally the same cost as conventional. And you know what? They taste better, way better, in fact. They actually taste like a tomato. So you really, really want to, enjoy the organic tomato varieties because they really are going to be better all around. Now I'm just dicing these into small bits. And I'm not seeding them or skinning them. You don't have to do that. And I really like to use the small tomatoes because they're juicier and they're sweeter and they have more of the fruit or the meat on them. The large tomatoes tend to be way more water-based, and they have a lot more seeds. And quite frankly, they're just not as flavorful. You know what I mean? I want to say hi to Diane, who's here, and Cheryl, who's here, and my Aunt Marie. Hi, Auntie Ree. All right. We've got the ladies in the house. It's good to be back. How have you guys been doing? How's your week been going? It's been really interesting for me to not have gone live every other day this week. I really missed you guys. Truly. It is my stepmom Rosie's birthday today, and so I called her this morning on my walk with my dog, and she asked right away, "Are you going on the live stream today?" She was just as excited as I am. So yes, it's been a weird week without you all. I really love this community, and I know that many people that start communities say, "Oh, I love my community," but truly, you guys are becoming my people. You are definitely my friends and my support team, and I love you for that. So it's good to be back, and it's good to have you. Yeah, you were missed. Thank you for saying that I was missed. All right, so I have my tomatoes chopped. I'm gonna just wipe my board because I don't want extra juice. All right, wipe my board. Okay, now I need to actually add that onion. Onion is really important. It is super savory. Sorry, I'm gonna pull my garbage can and my compost bin out. So onion's really important for this recipe. I'm gonna use shallot today. You can use yellow onion. You can even use scallions or green onions or chives if that's all you have. But I'm gonna use a shallot because I have it and I have a few, so I wanted to use them up. And I don't need all that much. So this looks to me that it has 2 shallots in this bulb. So I'm going to probably use both. Let's see how much I can yield. And I want to take my knife and I'm going to show you how I'm going to chop this super duper fast. Now, this is the way to chop or mince an onion quickly and efficiently, where you're going to get all the same size bits of onion. And you're going to make sure that you're going to actually use as much of the onion as possible. So this is the best way to go about it. I'm actually going to use both. Cool. And I like to peel like the first layer of the shallot completely off because shallots tend to be very, very dirty. They have a lot of sand in them. All right, so here's how we're going to actually mince our shallot. Any onion you can do this with, except for a green onion, any round onion. So I'm going to take my piece here. This is one piece that I've split in half. Now it's 2 pieces. I'm going to take my half and place it down. I'm now going to take my palm and I'm going to put it over the shallot, just like using my palm to hold it down. And then I'm going to take my chef's knife and I'm going to work this way, making little planks. Watch. And I'm not going to go all the way to the root end, meaning that root end, I'm going to show you in the overhead. Look in the overhead cam. See, you can see the root right there. I'm not going to go all the way because I want to create these planks. And I want the onion to kind of stick together, stay together. So I've made planks, like 4 or 5 planks all the way up. It's like 1/8 of an inch planks. You can see they're like nice and divided pieces. Yeah? See that? Yeah, okay, cool. Now I'm gonna turn the shallot and I'm gonna go the other direction. So perpendicular. Again, not going all the way through to the root or through the root, and then turn it back to the first position. And now I can give it a mince. Now this is really kind of a great technique because we want really super tiny minced pieces. Why? Because we are going to actually add this onion to the batter with the rest of the ingredients. And you saw that I took my time with the tomatoes. And so I want to take my time with the shallots and everything else. So here I'm going to do these next to a little bit faster. And when I do this, I know I'm going to get little even perfect size bits, which is what I want. Perfect. Last one. You can do this with any piece of produce that is round, by the way. It doesn't have to necessarily be an onion. So if you want small bits of potato, if you want small bits of beets, it doesn't matter. This trick actually does it, and it makes it really nice, super fast to get through the round piece of produce and make it super tiny. Look at how like really fine minced that was. That's what I want. And it's just gonna kind of melt away in the rest of this batter. Okay, cool. Now the next thing that I need are some chopped cilantro leaves. And I just wanna actually show you here that I'm gonna use some fresh cilantro that I have stored with a bag on top and I have stored in a mason jar with a little water. Now take a look at how fresh this looks. right? I love using cilantro just like this. I keep it in a mason jar, a glass container, and I add a little bit of water to the bottom just so that the stems sit in water. And this is going to keep it super green and hydrated for like 5-6 weeks. Seriously, it totally works. Keep this in your refrigerator, but the best way to make this work last that long is to take a bag and actually place the bag on top of the leaves when they're not in use, okay? So that's what I do. And I'm just going to use a little bit of this. I'm going to use my kitchen shears to pull some off. And then I'm going to chop this up. Perfect. Put this aside. And I love my kitchen shears for chopping or, snipping herbs right from the jar. It makes it easy because then you don't have to like take it all out of the water, right? Just give it a good chop here. Add it in. Okay, the next thing that I need is some type of heat. Now, this is totally optional. If you're making this savory masala for kids or people that don't like heat necessarily, you can skip this step. But I'm going to use some pickled sliced jalapenos. I'm going to show you in the overhead first, and now I'll show you in the front cam. And I'm just using the Hatch pickled sliced jalapenos because I could not find jalapenos that were fresh at the market this week. They were completely out. So I'm just going to use the equivalent of 2 chilies. I think that's about it. And these are nice and pickled. So they do have a little bit of a sweetness to them from the pickle brine, which is going to be nice. You can also use canned chopped chili so that you don't have to do the chopping, but these are nacho slices and that's all I had. So I'm using them. You could also use roasted red bell pepper. That's going to give you more of a sweet than a heat, and that will be really great. And take your time. You want to mince this as fine as the rest of the ingredients. Like take a look at the onion and kind of match the size of the onion. Yeah, my Aunt Marie says, I love the heat. Yeah, Auntie Marie, you will like this recipe a lot because it's going to give you that like sweet and heat, and it's going to give you a really kind of round, savory quality from all the tomatoes and the onions. So this one's really, really great. All right, so I'm adding my chilies to the mixture here, the veg mixture. Now, I'm going to bring in the Indian flavors even more by using some ginger root. Now, here's a gorgeous ginger root piece. I absolutely love ginger root. I buy it in bulk now, usually like 2 or 3 of these large ginger root pieces, and they have lots of different knobs on them. It's probably the equivalent of like, I don't know, probably 3 cups of ginger root in my home at all times, fresh. And I keep it in my refrigerator for smoothies. I use it daily for smoothies. And so I also like to use it for stir fries. But when I use it for stir fries, what I do is for smoothies, I can just like chop it off and throw it in the blender. But here's what I do if I'm going to use it for this sort of an application. I want just a little bit. So I'm just going to use my knife to pull off a bit. And then this is actually the best way to peel ginger root. Fresh ginger root likes to be peeled with a spoon. Now, this is a trick that I learned from Vermilion Restaurant, which is a fine dining Indian Latin fusion restaurant in Chicago. I worked under the amazing chef Maneet Chauhan, which if you've ever watched Chopped on the Food Network, that is Chef Maneet. She is one of the judges. And she taught me everything that I needed to know about Indian and Latin cuisine. But the most important thing she taught me was how to peel ginger with a spoon. Take a look at this. And let's just do a full overhead cam. I'm just going to use my spoon and I'm just going to literally pull the skin back. Now, the spoon is the best tool for this because it pulls the skin without pulling the meat. Do you see that it's just pulling the skin without pulling the meat? If you tried to do this with a Y peeler, that's a vegetable peeler, or a knife, you would end up pulling off a lot of the meat. And we don't want that. We want a really nice large like knob of fresh ginger. And when you end up finishing it, basically, you can look to see, have I peeled off any of the meat? No, this is just skin, peeps. Seriously, that's seriously the best way to do it. You don't need anything more fancy than just a spoon. So now the skin can go into the compost. I just want to make sure that you know that I'm not kidding you. Look at that's just like the paper skin. That's hard to do with a peeler or a paring knife. Meaning it won't happen. The spoon is your best bet. All right, so now I want to just chop this a 1/4 inch piece of ginger here. And the best way to do it is to kind of like chop it in a few pieces and then make it like, strips and then go stack your strips together and then mince it. So that's the best way to, I think, mince garlic, or you can just take your cleaver or your chef's knife to it and give it a good go. You may need to run your knife over it a few times because, again, you want it to be the size of the rest of the ingredients, especially the shallot and the chili. You want it to be kind of bite-sized bits. This is gonna be so good already. I mean, I can smell the shallot. I can smell the pickled jalapeno. It's giving me that heat, like kind of smell, you know, when there's like chili in the air. Obviously the ginger now is adding to this aroma. Oh, so good. Okay, gonna add that right to it. Yum. Okay, now let's actually stop what we're doing here. I'm gonna switch bowls. I'm gonna come back to the smaller bowl, and now let's make the wet batter. We will add it then to the vegetables. This is so simple. Okay, first things first, you're gonna need graham flour, which is a European name for garbanzo bean flour. So I have some here, and I'm using this from Thrive Market. This is sprouted chickpea or garbanzo bean flour. Chickpea, garbanzo bean, chichi bean, chechi bean. These are all the same words for garbanzo bean. When you take it and you dry the bean, you can actually then pulse it or create a flour out of it. And it's a very protein-rich flour, and it's thick and delicious, and it's perfect for Indian cooking. It's really, really good stuff. I love using it to make pancakes, and today we're going to use it for French toast. So I just need 2 tablespoons because a little goes a long way. And you guys, this is sprouted. So we're going to get more of the micro and macronutrients bioavailable in our gut microbiome because these garbanzo beans have been sprouted before they were actually made into a flour. So just 2 tablespoons right into a nice big bowl here. And then you need a whisk nearby, which I have. I'm going to use my small whisk. And then you need 1 cup of filtered water. Okay, so I'm going to use 1 cup of filtered water, and I have already measured this out. Hi, Charisse. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually whisk this in as I pour the water to avoid any lumps, okay? So here's what I'm going to do. Just like do it really slowly as I'm whisking. And depending on your graham flour, also known as garbanzo bean flour, depending on where you are in the world, I'm using both names. Depending on your flour, it may require more or less of the water. But the most important thing is you really do want it to be whisked in, okay? The garbanzo bean flour can be very dry. And so if you actually just go in and try to throw in the water and throw in the graham flour without, drizzling it in, what you're going to end up with are really kind of nice big lumps of chickpea flour, garbanzo bean flour, and it's not pleasant. Okay, I think that's all. You know what? I think I need more garbanzo bean flour. Ugh. Let's see if I can recover this. I want it to be a little thicker. I actually think I added too much water, and maybe I didn't measure out my 2 tablespoons. I think I was a little bit quick on that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just like kind of fold it in, whisk it in. And I want something that's not lumpy, but slightly kind of runny. Do you see how dry it is? It requires a lot of like mixing in. Perfect. Okay, cool. All right, this is perfect. Now, let's see. We need to season this with all of our flavor agents, okay? So I'm going to use a little chili powder today, which I have, you can see in the overhead cam, just a little bit. That's going to go right in. I'm going to use a little turmeric because this is Indian cooking after all, and this is masala French toast. So we need that yellow, that golden yellow from the turmeric. That's going to give us the I cannot pronounce the name, curcumin, which is the really wonderful antibacterial property of the turmeric and anti-inflammatory property of the turmeric. But one of the ways to activate the turmeric is to add a little black pepper. So we're going to add a tiny bit now. Freshly ground, of course, you know me. I always prefer freshly ground. I hope that you will join me in that too, because pre-ground pepper is yuck. Okay. This looks great. Look at how gorgeous this color is. All right, I want to make sure that I have everything. Let's see if there's any questions here. Yeah, Cheryl says, peeling a ginger with a spoon was the best thing that you've learned. I'm so glad. It does help. Okay, I don't see I don't see any other questions. A comment from Sharice. Mine was storing cilantro and parsley in a mason jar covered with a plastic bag. Sharice is making a good point. You can actually combine your herbs. You can even add green onions to your mason jar with water, and that will help to elongate their life. Okay, this looks fantastic. Now I'm gonna make sure that I have everything. I've got the chickpea flour, the water, chili powder, turmeric, sea salt. I've got the black pepper to activate the turmeric. That's what really makes it anti-inflammatory. I'm now gonna add all of the rest of the ingredients, and I think what I'm gonna do is actually add everything right to this, but I wanna make sure that there are no lumps. Last kind of mix. Okay, I'm gonna add this. This is fantastic. This is interesting. This is an interesting recipe. It's not at all very Americanized. I'm just gonna give this like a nice mix. Now this mixture looks fantastic. Really, really yummy. Okay, now let's get our heat going. This is the final. We're gonna just like cook up our French toast. I want a little plant-based butter. So I'm gonna use a few tablespoons. Right down. Now, one of the coolest things about this recipe is that you can use any bread that you want. I actually prepared a loaf and baked a loaf of bread, and this comes right from the staple recipe for bread in your cookbook. This recipe is available within any cookbook. All of the staple recipes remain month after month because I really do believe they're just that. They're staples. This bread recipe is so easy. If you've never been a bread baker or you're kind of intimidated by it, try this recipe. All you do is add like literally just a few ingredients right to a stand mixer with a bread hook or a dough hook. You don't have to wait for the yeast to bloom. You don't have to wait for a rise. You put everything into a mixer. You let the flour mix up with all the rest of the ingredients and let it mix for 10 minutes. And then let it sit for 10 minutes. Then when you come back to your dough, it is going to be ready. Now, I've turned this into a challah because I love making challah. It's just a braided, traditionally an egg washed braided bread. And I love it because it's so beautiful. And I use whole wheat flour, but you can use anything. And this recipe is great because you can turn it into pizza dough. You can turn it into hamburger buns, really, truly anything that you want. All right, so I'm going to use a serrated knife, and I'm just going to cut some pieces of bread off. I want the bread to be probably like a 1/2 inch to 1 inch thick. Let's see. And I store my loaf of bread in the freezer if I'm not going to eat it throughout the week, or if I know if I know that it's going to just take me a while to get through it. Okay, I think we'll do 4 slices for right now. That seems to be good for me. Okay, here's a question. So I used whole wheat flour as a substitute. It seemed to work well. Okay, that's not a question. I thought, sorry, Mom, I thought it was. Yeah, it does. Whole wheat flour will work well as in the place of all-purpose flour. And then you can mix it up too. You can do a little all-purpose and a little whole wheat and find the right kind of like color and texture and nuttiness that you like, or wheatiness, I should say. All right, this looks good. All right, so I'm going to place the batter, place the bread in the batter, and I really need it to coat. I need everything to kind of like soak in. Now, obviously, the pieces of carrot and tomato and shallot, everything's not going to sink in perfectly, but you kind of just want to like make sure that it has a little bit of everything, okay? Look at this. Just like this. It's nice and coated. You can see in the overhead as well as the top cam. And I'm just going to place this down. There we go. And do it again. Now, this is going to make quite a bit. So you can actually half your batter recipe, or you can actually make all of your savory French toast, and it freezes incredibly well. So it's really great. And now this is a snack recipe today. So you can see it's quite hearty. It can definitely be a lunch. It could certainly even be a breakfast if you wanted a savory French toast for breakfast. And I'm just going to like put out a few slices for myself as a snack, but you could actually make it a larger portion for you. Oh my gosh, this smells amazing. Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you. Okay, yum. Now look how much batter I have left. This is going to be great for the rest of the loaf later. I won't bore you with that right now. And I think we have a question. Do I see a question in there? Yeah. Angie, do you just slice off some slices off the loaf while it's still frozen and then pop the rest back into the freezer? Great question, Angie. You can do that, but it's actually much harder to slice into fresh baked frozen bread. So I actually will freeze it once, and then when I'm ready to use it, I remove it, let it thaw, and then I use it. I start to slice it then, but I wait till it's thawed to slice it and use it. It's harder to slice it because it's so soft. It's not manufactured made. So it's really hard to slice when it's frozen like that. So thaw it first. And then once it's thawed, use it up. Enjoy it. Thank you for the question. Oops. Oh, okay. Here's a really cool substitution or addition. Marie asked, can you add raisins? Yeah. Well, what a cool idea. You could add golden raisins. You could add currants, dried currants, which are the tiny little ones. Heck, you could add goji berries, whatever. You could make it your own. You could also just add like something sweet like a raisin or a goji berry or a dried currant to garnish your plate. That would be fantastic. Oh, here's another question. Is there a way to fry using minimal oil in this recipe? You know, Mom, I know that is definitely something that you're thinking a lot about. My mom is currently reading the book, The Starch Solution. And this is really all about how to go whole food plant-based, how to really remove sugar, salt, and oil. Those are the SOSs in our diet. And truly, Mom, there's no good way to do this. I think you can't really make, let's see, let me pause for a second and just think about this. Can you fry French toast without oil? Let me ask you guys, have you ever used no oil to fry up French toast? I'm curious. I don't think that you can. I think that you really can't kind of use anything else. So oil is going to be your best bet. Gosh, I wish that there was another. You can't use water. You know what I mean? I'll think on that for you. And then anyone here that's watching, if you think of something like a great oil substitute for frying, let us know. Now I'm using plant-based butter, so I'm not using oil, but it is oil-based. It definitely has coconut oil in the plant-based butter. And the plant-based butter it's going to act like real butter, so it's going to brown like real butter. It's going to be really nice. So I want to bring this to the side so we can really see it. I'm flipping it now. You can see, look at how gorgeous this bread has turned kind of turmeric golden. Yes, Mom, that's great. You can just spray the pan. My mom is here, you guys, if you're just joining us. She's offering, can you do this without oil or use a little less? Can you just spray the pan? That's a really great suggestion. I think that you should try that. You may need to spray it a few times, like just cook one piece at a time with a sprayed pan and then remove it and then cook the next piece and spray it again. But that'll give you like a nice layer of oil. Yeah, and Monia says you can air fry it, or she's asking, I think, Monia, that's a really great point. You can also air fry these. I think the best thing to do is probably, you would want to put them carrot side up. So look, let's do an overhead cam view. See this piece? I haven't flipped it yet. I'm pointing to this piece. It has the carrots. You would actually put it, carrot side or vegetable side up and then put it in your air fryer, and that could absolutely work. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, cool. Okay, I'm going to flip this. I love French toast. It's one of my absolute favorites. Truly, before this recipe, I had never had a savory French toast. In theory, I've always thought about it, but I'd never actually made it until now. This one's really, really good. All right, I'm just going to clear my decks because I really want a nice place to present my finished dish, and I want it to be nice and pretty for you and for me. They say we eat with our eyes first. It's so true. Don't you think that's true? It's absolutely true for me. I know that if a dish in a kitchen is nice and clean, I know that I am more likely to start to salivate and want it and crave it, right? But if I'm seeing a plate that's kind of messy, it has fingerprints all over it, a kitchen is messy, right? We're not cleaning as we're going. I don't know. There's something about it that makes me feel just a bit uneasy. That's my own personal preference, though. I am definitely not judging anybody here at all. Never would. Not my style. Not my style. All right. So I'm just going to come back to this French toast, and I'm just going to make sure that we have everything working hard, that I can see that tomatoes are getting nice and kind of like popping a little bit. This looks really, really good. Jennifer Ray is on. Hi, Jennifer. Good to see you here. I know we've been chatting on Instagram. It's good to see you here. Doesn't this look yummy? You guys, look, take a look at it. Really, seriously, I'm just going to come back to the view. It is golden brown and delicious, especially that piece. I'm coming for you. Woo! This looks unbelievably yummy. I want to just turn this one more time because I want to see what's working on the other side. Not quite. It takes a second. It takes the graham flour or garbanzo bean flour, whatever you're calling it. It actually does, it's really thick, like I said. So it really does require a good long cook time. Look, I got a little bit that just kind of like I needed to pull off. I'm going to taste it. Just like testing. Okay, a little bit burnt, but yummy. So yummy. I'm so ready for that. Ooh, I see my dog Boo. She's like perking up. Boo, you want a bite of French toast? I know you do, girl. But you can't have this. This is not dog food. All right, this looks really great to me. I'm just going to give it a few more seconds. Now, excuse me. In the recipe, oh, that was bad manners. I shouldn't have done that. I just got done telling you that I keep a clean kitchen, and here I am. I just licked my finger. That's okay, because it's all for me. I'm eating this. Not even Danny's going to have a bite because Danny's not here. All right, so listen, I'm going to show you and wrap up how to finish this dish. There's a couple different ways you could serve this. Like I said, this is a snack for me. So you can just slice it in little triangles or bits. You can keep it whole pieces. Maybe you just serve one or two to yourself if it's a snack. But no judgment. You can have as much or as little as you want. And to serve this up, I really want a nice, delicious green chutney. That's what's going to make this. And so I got one from Swad, which is an Indian like canning company. And I just got this amazing coriander chutney. I got this from Amazon, and I'm really excited to try it. This has coriander, which is cilantro. That's just how they say it in other parts of the world, except for here in the United States. It has serrano peppers, coconut, a little salt, soybean oil. It's got some cumin, some ginger, sugar, garlic, and then I'm not even going to look. It does have a little coloring, but I couldn't find any other one that looked as good as this. So we're going to try it. I'm going to give it a shake first. You really need to shake it well. I can tell that there's nice and good big chunks. Cool. Yeah. Okay, so let me just try this chutney first, and then I'll determine how much I want to actually serve with my dish. Oh, is that yummy? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So into that. I'm so into that. All right, so here's how I'm going to serve it. I'm going to do the Mighty Chef's Swoop. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take a big, giant tablespoon, place it down on my plate. I love to use white plates if I can, if I'm going to do like a nice good plate, and then just give it a nice swoop. That's it. And I'm going to layer my French toast right on top of the swoop. Pull it off. Place it down. Yum. No, I want this piece. I'm going for you. Let's just look on the other side. Take a look. I'm just going to hold this up. Look, you can see it's really nicely golden brown and delicious. You can see the tomatoes. You can see the shallots. You can see the carrots, even the little bits of pepper. Oh, this looks so good. I might serve one up and one down so that the eater can understand that this actually has carrots and tomatoes, and it's not like a surprise. It's savory. This looks fantastic. I need a napkin because I know it's going to get messy. Like I said, you can freeze these slices. So if you want to, you absolutely can. You guys, before we wrap up, I just give this a quick bite because I have to. I absolutely must. I want a little bit of everything, the chutney, and then a nice good bite of the French toast. Here we go. Thank you for this food. Thank you, God. Golf clap. This is something you're definitely going to want to try. It's absolutely amazing. When I make it, every time I make it, I think, oh, how could there be so much flavor? Really spent the time to add flavor to the batter. It's spicy, it's sweet, it's savory. It's everything that I want in a snack or a breakfast or a lunch. I should just say that. I love the chutney too. Really goes well with that green chutney. You need something that's not sweet chutney. You want something that's nice and herbaceous. So I'm glad that I chose the green chutney for this. You guys try this recipe, and if you make it your own in any way, like Marie mentioned, adding some golden raisins to your mix, maybe either in the batter or on top as a garnish, whatever you do, please take a photo and then pop it into our Facebook group, Plant-Based Made Easy. I'm really in love with all of our community members because every one of us is from a different part of the world and a different part of our plant-based journey. So I thank you for being a part of the group if you are already, and if you aren't, please join us. It's totally free, and I want you a part of it. And I want to just say, for the record, I know I'm going only live on Thursdays for this week, next week, and the last week of December. But I want to draw your attention to next Thursday, December 17th. I'm going to have another guest on Plant-Based Made Easy. I am so excited. My new friend, Pat Tawiamo, he is going to come on. He's going to be doing an amazing snack recipe for sweet matcha popcorn. And he's wonderful. He's a great YouTuber, and he has a wonderful Japanese cooking school all about how to be and enjoy Japanese food and be plant-based. So he's excellent. I hope that you'll join me for that. That's next Thursday, December 17th. And if you haven't seen already, I am giving away some Kangshan knives, a 12-piece set. So I want you to win this. If you're interested in joining this holiday giveaway and entering to win, all you have to do is check out the Instagram video on my page at Chef D Malfi, and you can enter to win. It is a wonderful set of knives. All I'm asking is that you subscribe to our monthly cookbook subscription, and then you give Kangshan Cutlery a follow as well as me at Chef D Malfi, and like that Instagram post, and you will be entered to win. We're going to pick a winner on Sunday, and a 12-piece knife set with a gorgeous acacia block will be sent to your home directly on Monday if you are the lucky winner. So I hope that you guys are feeling great this week. And if you need support along the way about plant-based eating or living, you know where to find me. Please get in touch. I'm very easy to get in touch with. You can send me a DM. You can send me an email. Whatever. I'd love to chat with you about maybe your concerns or maybe your questions. I am here for you. All right. So have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Peace.